Hello, friends, and welcome to Miss Debbie's Storybook STEM class. I'm so happy you're here to join me. Before we get started with our STEM lesson, let's sing our hello song. Here goes. It's time to wave our hands and say hello, hello. It's time to wave our hands and say hello, hello. I'm so happy that you are here. Are you ready to have some fun? Let's smile and wave our hands and say hello. Hello, friends, and welcome again to Miss Debbie's Storybook STEM class, where we always find a little bit of science in every book we read. Today, we are going to be reading a book called Time to Sleep. There is our book, and it is about a bear who's getting ready to sleep for the winter. Here he is right behind me. He's getting ready to snuggle up and take a really long nap. Miss Debbie just took a nap. I snuggled up with my favorite blanket and my favorite pillow, and when I woke up, I felt so energized and ready to go. Do you like to take naps? Yeah, naps are great. They make you feel so much better. But there are some animals that are outside right now getting ready for a very long winter's nap. They're going to sleep for the whole winter. That's a couple months. They're going to sleep in their cave or their burrow or a little nest in a tree, and they are going to sleep for a long time. When these animals sleep for the winter, it's called hibernation. Hibernation, that's our scientific word of the day. Get ready to stand up on 2 feet and shout the word hibernation and jump up at the same time. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Hibernation! That's right, hibernation is our scientific word of the day. And hibernation means that animals sleep for the winter and they don't wake up until the springtime. So we are going to read our book, Time to Sleep, and find out about all the different animals that hibernate in the winter. Time to Sleep by Denise Fleming. Here goes. Look at that bear. Time to sleep. Bear sniffed once. She sniffed twice. I smell winter in the air, said Bear. It's time to crawl into my cave and sleep. But first, I must tell Snail. Snail. Snails hibernate. Snail was slowly slithering up one leaf and down another. Snail, rumbled Bear, winter is in the air. It's time to seal your shell and sleep. There he is. There's Snail. Snail stopped slithering. You are right, Bear, said Snail. This morning there was frost on the grass. It is time to sleep. But first, I must tell Skunk. Skunk? Skunks hibernate too. Scritch, scratch, scratch. Skunk was busy digging grubs. Skunk, winter is on its way, said Snail. It's time for you to curl up in your den and sleep. Skunk looked up. The leaves on the trees were yellow and red. All right, said Skunk, I will sleep. But first I must tell Turtle. Turtle? Did you know turtles hibernate? Turtle was off on a ramble. Stop, Turtle, cried Skunk. I have news. Winter is on its way. Turtle blinked. Winter? Yes, winter, said Skunk. It is time for you to dig down deep and sleep. The days have been growing shorter, muddled Turtle. It is time to sleep. But first I must tell Woodchuck. Woodchuck? Woodchucks hibernate too. Turtle trudged up Woodchuck's hill. Woodchuck, called Turtle. Winter, it's on its way. It's time for you to burrow down and sleep. Where is Woodchuck? Must be high up on the hill. I don't see him there. There he is. Thank goodness, said Woodchuck with a sigh. My skin is so tight I could not eat another bite. I am ready to sleep, but first I must tell Ladybug. Ladybug? Did you know ladybugs hibernate? Ladybug was perched high on a branch in a maple tree. There's Ladybug. Ladybug, called Woodchuck. Winter is on its way. Ladybug flew over Woodchuck's head. The leaves are falling from the trees, said Woodchuck. It is time for you to slip under a log and sleep. All right, said Ladybug, but first I must tell Bear. She's going to tell Bear. Does Bear already know it's time to hibernate? Let's see. Bear was softly snoring in her cave. Bear, cried Ladybug. Wake up! Wake up! Bear grumbled and rolled over. The sky is full of geese, honking goodbye, cried Ladybug. Winter is on its way, Bear. Uh-oh. Do you see Bear? See Bear in his cave? He's sleeping. Bear opened one eye. Then she opened the other eye. What? Growled Bear. It is time to crawl into your cave and sleep, said Ladybug. Ladybug, grumbled Bear. I am in my cave. I am asleep. Oh dear, said Ladybug. I'm so sorry, Bear. Please go back to sleep. See Ladybug on Bear's nose? Bear rolled over and closed her eyes. Ladybug slipped under a log nearby. Good night, Bug, said Bear. Good night, Bear, said Ladybug. Good night, Woodchuck. Good night, Turtle. Good night, Skunk. Good night, Snail. Good night, everyone. See you in the spring. See, it's snowing. The snow is coming down. It's starting to get colder. Time to sleep. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story about all the different animals that are out getting ready to hibernate. Some are storing food to bring with them when they hibernate. Others don't bring any food at all. And some animals don't stick around to hibernate. They migrate. And that's a word that means that they travel someplace warmer. So let's get ready to do some fun STEM activities about hibernation. So we've talked about hibernation and we've learned about a few animals that hibernate. Now we're going to ask ourselves a question. Why do some animals sleep through the winter? Well, let's discover the wonders of hibernation. First of all, when winter time arrives, what lands on the ground? Snow, lots of snow and ice, and it gets really, really cold. And animals find their food outside to survive. We all need food to live. We can go in the refrigerator and get our food. We can go to restaurants and get our food. We can go into the cupboard and get a can of soup to get some food in the winter. So we don't have trouble finding food. animals eat food outside. And in the wintertime, when it's super, super cold, that food gets frozen. And it makes it difficult for the animals to find enough food to keep them healthy and give them energy to survive. So for this activity, what we are going to do is find a little piece of fruit, maybe some blueberries, oranges, apples, anything you have in the house. And you're going to put them in an ice cube tray. And then you are going to cover it with water and freeze them overnight. Then you can see what it's like for an animal in the winter to try to get some food. I want you to try to smell it. See if you can smell it through the ice. Touch it and feel how cold it is. And then figure out how you're going to get that food out of the ice. Maybe one time you might be able to do it, but for every meal of your day to try to bite food out of the ice is going to be really, really tough. Some animals have no choice but to hibernate. They need to hibernate because they can't find enough food to survive the winter. For our second activity, we're going to learn that hibernation not only eliminates the need for winter food gathering, but also lets an animal conserve its body energy by slowing down its heart rate and breathing. So to help us understand this, we are going to need a timer of some sort. Miss Debbie has a glass timer here. You can use a timer on a microwave. You can look at the clock and watch the timer go around for 1 full minute. You can use your parents' phone. There's a timer on that. And you're going to set it for 1 minute's time. Then you're going to grab a blanket and a pillow and maybe your favorite book. And Miss Debbie is going to have you pretend that you are hibernating. You're going to rest for about 10 minutes and just calm yourself down. Breathe nice and slow. And then when you're done, when the 10 minutes is up, Miss Debbie wants you to check something called your pulse. Now your pulse can be found on your wrist right here. There's your thumb here. You're going to follow it to where there's a little crease in your arm here where your hand meets your wrist. And then you're going to find a little bone right here, and you're going to put your first 2 fingers on top of that lightly and patiently wait until you feel pulsing. Miss Debbie can feel it. If you don't feel it the first time, don't get frustrated. It takes a couple tries before you feel it. And if it doesn't work on one hand, I want you to switch over and try it on another hand. And you're just going to gently place your 2 fingers around until you feel it. Now you're going to have someone else help you with this, and they are going to set the timer for 1 minute, and you're going to count how many pulses or how many times your heart beats in 1 minute. Then Miss Debbie wants you to do some vigorous exercise. I want you to run in place. You can jump up and down. You can do some jumping jacks. You can walk around a table fast a couple times. Maybe go outside and run around really fast and come back in. And after about 5 minutes, I want you to do the same thing. Check your wrist and find your pulse and count how many times your heart is beating. Also pay attention to your breathing. See if you're breathing a little bit faster or a little bit slower than you were breathing when you were resting and pretending you were hibernating. See how you feel. Are you sweating? Is it hard for you to catch your breath? All of those things mean that we are using energy in our body that we get from the food that we eat. So when we're exercising super duper fast, I want you to figure out if we are using more energy or using less energy. Something else that we can try that can be a little bit tricky, but if you get it to work, it's so much fun. When you figure out where your pulse is and you feel it on your finger, grab some Play-Doh and roll it into a tiny little ball. You can't have it too heavy because then it won't work. But roll it into a tiny little ball, and you are going to use a toothpick. And you're going to put it into your ball of Play-Doh or clay, flatten it a little bit. And then when you find your pulse, there's my pulse. Then a great visual so that you can see your pulse is to put your ball of Play-Doh on top of your pulse. Do you see it moving? Miss Debbie has her hand lying flat and it's moving back and forth because it's on my pulse. Pretty cool, huh? For our last experiment, we are going to check out body temperature. Now, while the average body temperature of a human or an animal is 99 degrees Fahrenheit, a hibernating animal's body temperature drops to around 43 degrees Fahrenheit. That's less than half the normal temperature and only 11 degrees above freezing. The lower temperature reduces the amount of energy an animal must use to keep warm. So what we're going to do to demonstrate this is you're going to need a bowl that's about half full of warm water. Then you're going to grab some ice cubes and put them in a bowl, and you're going to need a spoon. If you have a thermometer, that is great. If not, you can use your hands to feel the difference of the water while we're doing this. What you are going to do initially is grab your digital thermometer and you're going to press the button. You may need help from an adult for this so they can show you how it works. Never play with one of these without an adult's permission. So Miss Debbie's going to put that in the water and I'm going to check to see what the temperature of my water is. Ooh, it's getting up there. 101.4, 101 degrees. So you can write that down or have an adult write that down for you. And then what you are going to do is take an ice cube and you're going to change the temperature of the water. You're going to put the ice in there, and this is what happens when it gets cold outside and when a hibernating animal is resting and hibernating. The temperature of its body goes down much lower and it gets much cooler, so it doesn't use up as much energy. So you're going to stir that around and you're going to have it melt, and then we're going to test the temperature again. Miss Debbie's digital thermometer has been acting up, so it might not test that, but we'll try it again. Oh yeah. Almost done. It was 101. Now it's 94.8. So it's going down the colder we make the water with our ice cubes. Now 94.8. If I feel that with my hands, it's very comfortable. It feels great. Now, could you imagine your body at 43 degrees? So we're going to keep adding some ice to our water and stirring it around and measuring the temperature every time we add an ice cube and writing it down until we reach 43 degrees. If you don't and you get close enough, that is absolutely fine. But put your hands in the water when it's really cold so you can experience the body temperature of a hibernating animal. Do you think you could sleep comfortably at this temperature? I don't think I could, but that's how they sleep. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun learning about hibernation with you. Before we end our lesson, let's sing our goodbye song. Here goes. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye. We've had lots of fun, my friends, and we'll do it all again. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye, friends. Until I see you again next week, stay happy and healthy and cuddle up with that blanket and pillow and get some rest. Bye.